Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. In today's Brother Canvas Workspace tutorial, you are going to learn how to use the Fit to Path feature to create text inside of an Easter egg. You can personalize Easter eggs and then use your ScanNCut even further and your universal pen holder tool to create some amazing colorful projects. Recently I did a tutorial on cutting out stamped images. And if you watch that tutorial, it will relate to this one as well, because on that tutorial I showed you how to cut out bunnies. It'll all become clear as you watch me create text along a path. You need to start out by creating a shape. I'm inside of Canvas Workspace for the PC. If your Canvas Workspace does not look like mine, please use the links to download Canvas Workspace for the PC. I showed that in a recent Fit to Path tutorial. Go to the Shapes panel. Select the Easter, or it's definitely not an Easter egg, select the egg shape. I'm calling it an Easter egg. I'm scrolling up to show you that the shapes are categorized. The eggs are found, or the egg is found in the category called Others. This egg is also on your machine of your ScanNCut. However, you can't use Fit to Path on your machine itself. You need to use the Canvas Workspace for the PC version of your software. I'm going to close the Shapes panel. I'm making this a little bigger to work with. Now before I show you how to use a special kind of font, I want you to all be able to follow along with something that you already have installed on your computer. And that is a font called Arial. So I'm going to use Arial font. I'm going to select the text tool and I'm going to write my niece's name. I've changed it to regular type for now. And I will write her name. My niece's name is Jocelyn. In order to use the Fit to Path tool, you need to select both your text object and your egg object or your shape object. And then we can fit these, the text will fit along the path. It's important to note that script fonts do not work for this. You want to use fonts where the letters are separate and not connected, like the Arial font that you all have on your computer. So I'm going to select both by drawing around them with my mouse. Notice how they're both selected, and I'm going to go up to Edit menu, Fit to Path. You will notice that the text is upside down, and that's okay, because over here in the properties we can do some further changes. So right now let me just show you what we could do without doing any further changes. We can move our text by taking the little handle, the little cross. We can move our text around the path. But that is not what I want to do. I want Jocelyn to be inside of the Easter egg, and it's upside down. So I'm going to take, in my Properties panel, I'm going to go to Path Direction, and I'm going to change the path direction. Notice by changing the path direction, the text sort of flipped right side up. I'm going to move the little handle to put the text where I want it inside of the egg. Now you're going to notice, but because it went inside a path, the text got squished together. The letters are close together. Another thing you can do inside the Properties panel is change your character spacing. So let's increase the character spacing so that the letters are not on top of each other. When you do that, you would have a larger text, text object, so you could then move the handle again to make this aligned. You want to change the character spacing so that the letters are not overlapping. Okay, so now I'm going to do a couple more things because I like to build your skills up. So I need to now, first of all, we're going to save a project. Whenever you're in Canvas Workspace and you're doing a lot of steps, make sure you save your project. So let's do that. Go to File and go to Save. I'm calling this file Jocelyn, and you can name the file what you want and save it to a location that you want so that you can find it easily again. I keep all of my projects inside something called Drawing. So now, at this point, I'm going to show you the project because I want you to understand what we're going to be able to accomplish when you learn these skills. So I'm not doing this entire project in this tutorial because I've done different aspects of it on YouTube before. I'm going to go to my Paper Chef Facebook page, which is open in my Google Chrome browser, and I'm going to show you a finished project that I posted on my Facebook page. Okay, so here is what you can do. This is my niece's name, Jocelyn, and this is what you can do using the Fit to Path feature. So that's what I'm about to show you now. How to use a font, and I always use, in this case I do, it's a free font that you can download. So I'll have a link to that. And it's called Happy Rabbit. So now I'm going to show you how to use the Happy Rabbit font to create the text along a path. Now, in other tutorials on YouTube, I showed you how to cut out stamped images. So that's another thing you can, this is the Welcome Easter stamp set. I showed you how to color in the bunnies, how to put the bunnies on a wobble spring. So please watch that related tutorial in the description. That'll be linked in the description. In another tutorial on YouTube, I showed you how to use the universal pen holder tool to select a color of marker that you want to use from Stampin' Up, and this is a Highland Heather marker. Okay, so you can go out and watch that tutorial, and you're going to need, a few tutorials to be able to complete this project. And I also have a course I'm launching. It's under review right now, and it is called Brother ScanNCut Working with Fonts, and I'm going to teach you things like, well, not the cutting stamped images part, but you're going to be learning all about how to use the universal pen holder tool. All right, let me get back. I'm going to get back to Canvas Workspace now. A couple more things. If you were to just take this right now and you were to try to send it to your machine, okay, the path itself would not cut, okay? The path itself would not cut, meaning it is a light blue line. That is just a reference. After you put text along the path, the little light blue line is just a reference. Okay? So, let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and show you that we're going to need to create 2 eggs. Okay? We're going to create 2 eggs right now. Let's do that. Oops, I created 3 eggs. I'm going to delete one, just using the delete key on my keyboard. All right, the reason we have 2 eggs is because one of those is going to disappear when we create the text along a path, and the other egg is going to be what we need to cut out on our scan and cut. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take one egg and change the width to 3 inches wide. I'm doing that over in the edit panel, so I'll make one 3 inches wide. I'm keeping maintain aspect ratio checked off so that it still looks like a good egg. I'm taking the second egg and making it 3.25 inches wide. So always make the one that you're cutting a little larger. I moved the larger egg away so it doesn't get in the way when we do the fit to path. The larger egg is because when I create the text now, again, you see how the Y is sticking out, like up on this one that we created with Arial font. And so we want to make sure that we don't cut those letters off. This will become clear when I put the eggs inside each other. All right, so we have the smaller egg. We're going to create text again, and I'm going to type my niece's name in the same way first, just to show you what'll happen in a different font called the Happy Rabbit font. I'm going to select the text. I can do this inside of the Properties panel, or I can do it up on the menu bar. I'm going to change the font to Happy Rabbit. Now, here's the trick. When you install fonts, if you don't know the names of them, and you can only see the characters, there's no way of you finding this font in your list. So I keep track of all the fonts I install, and I just know that these fonts are in alphabetical order, and that's how I'm going to go to the H's and find it. Because when you get there, it's just a bunch of rabbit ears. You don't actually see the words Happy Rabbit. It's because the letters are too small to see with the ears on them. So now I'm just going to zoom in and show you something else. And what I wanted to show you is that, and I do explain this in my fonts course, what's going on is that the the uppercase J in this particular font set, okay, this font that I installed, the lower cases don't have the ears on them. I'm sorry, the upper cases. Okay, so I wrote a capital J and it doesn't have the ears on it, but the lowercase letters do. So I just changed the J to a lowercase j. So if that happens to you, I want you to know that the reason they have it like that is because the font is set up so that you can alternate between, let me make a capital. See, that's a capital, and so the capital fonts do not have the ears. So you can alternate your words with capital and lowercase letters and not put ears on every letter. But I like the Happy Rabbit font, and I'm going to put ears on every letter. All right, so the other thing I like to do, and this is a tip and a trick for those of you that plan on drawing out this font and creating an Easter egg like the one that I just showed from my Facebook page. You need to fill it in with color here. Now, filling it in with color here does not necessarily mean it's going to be filled in with color on your machine. So you also have to set the pattern fill to solid on your machine. But I'm going to fill it in here to show you what it'll look like when you draw it. And it's also a good visual whenever you're working in Canvas Workspace to fill in the text. So I really like this font because it colors in nice large letters and with the ears, and the ears have little holes in them. And I just love the way that this comes out on the egg. So now that I have my text and I have my egg, the smaller egg, I'm going to do the fit to path that you learned earlier. So we have to select both objects. I zoomed out a little bit so you don't miss anything. Draw around both objects with your mouse to select them. Go to Edit, Fit to Path. Again, I'm going to take the handle and show you. So that's how we move text along a path, but because the text is upside down, we're going to change the orientation of the path. Now watch where that little handle goes when I do that. When I change the path direction from end to start, watch where the little cross is, or the handle. It is now at the front next to the J. So we've changed the orientation, and now the text is inside of the egg. So now you know how to troubleshoot. And there's one more thing, is your little bunny ears are overlapping and they won't come out well when you draw them. So we need to change the character spacing again. A character spacing of 12, I went higher and lower, is a good character spacing. The ears are not touching. So now I'm going to fix the orientation a little more so that it's centered or along the bottom of the egg. Now I will zoom back out and we will orient the egg, the inside egg, to the outside egg. So let's zoom back out. I'm going to select both objects. I'm going into the Edit panel and I'm going to align these both vertically and horizontally. Notice how the outer line, which is going to be cut, is not going to cut off the Y because we made the outer egg slightly larger. There's something else you need to know. I'm going to go to the Layers panel and show you something. You see all these little, I'm calling them scalpels a lot. That's how I refer to them in my course because they look like little scalpels. It's really a blade. It's showing you that these are all going to cut. Everything on my screen right now is going to cut if I send it to my ScanNCut machine. So this is what I mean, what I'm calling scalpels or blades. I'm hovering over each so you can see. So you don't want everything to cut. You only want the egg to cut, the egg itself. I'm going to get rid of our first example so that layer won't confuse us. I'll get rid of the first Jocelyn we made with the Arial font. Now I'm left with the text to the path, that's the inside. That's the inside. We want that to draw, and I'm left with the outer egg. So we do want the outer egg to cut. We want the inner egg to draw. It's not you can't do this on your machine later once we send it over because we didn't create it there. We created it here. You have to tell it to draw here inside Canvas Workspace before you send it over to your ScanNCut. So I'm selecting the text, the Jocelyn text, in the layers, and where it says cut, I'm going to select draw. You could have also done this up inside the menu. Where it says Operation, you could have selected Draw. I'm calling this little one a highlighter. That's what I think I called it in my course because it looks to me like a little highlighter. That's how you know it's drawing. It doesn't look like the little scalpel or the blade. That's how you know it's drawing and not cutting. Now there's a better way to know this on the machine itself, because when you send it over, you're going to actually see the drawing lines as blue. They're going to be blue on your machine. All right, so I want to show you how to send this to your machine, and then I'm going to show you a project that I'm very proud of. One of my YouTube viewers went out and created a project, so I'm going to show you that project last. So here you are. You've done your egg. You've done your fit to path. You've created many eggs for many people, and you want to do your drawings and your cutting. So you're going to send this to your machine where you do the next part of your work, using, of course, my tutorials on how to use the universal pen holder, my tutorials on how to cut out stamped images. But that's what you're going to do next. You need to send this to your machine. So you're going to go, first let's save it. And then you're going to transfer it. So File, Transfer FCM file via the internet. Okay, so the registered machine is ready to download. I have tutorials on how to register your machine, how to get it wireless ready. Okay, there's many things that we're not covering in this particular tutorial. I've only showed you all the software portion. So please refer to my other tutorials to get the big picture. Now in my courses, I always give you much more detail than I'm showing you here. All right, so now what I want to do, so that's it for the how to fit the path using an egg. So now back to my Facebook. Now inside of my Brother ScanNCut user group, which you're all welcome to join, there's a lady, Sharon, and she couldn't have made me prouder. So I want to feature her projects. And she said that she created these based on, she saw my wobbly bunny tutorial on how to cut out the stamped images using Welcome Easter. And she went and created eggs for her granddaughter's daycare pals. Super adorable. So I'm going to show you the project that she posted inside of Facebook user group. She created these little baskets, and that is last year was one of the celebration papers, I think painted seasons that the baskets, the paper is made of. And the little bunnies are made with Welcome Easter, the Welcome Easter stamp set. I love how she inked around the edges of the eggs, and I have a close-up of this as well with the text along a path. Here are the daycare pals, her granddaughter's daycare pals. I love how she colored those with different shading and colors of different, probably the blends. And I love how she wrote the names on all the eggs using the Fit to Path feature, and put all the bunnies on wobble springs. I mean, the daycare pals are just going to love that. They're going to love their personalized Easter eggs. And there's one more picture from Sharon. So I can't be proud. I couldn't be prouder when I see you all taking the concepts I teach you and applying them to your own personal projects, and then sharing that back with me. She even used the Pleased as Punch designer series paper, as I showed in the video, to make the background layers for these wobbly bunnies. So really excited about that. So I hope you're going to give this a try and make some Easter eggs that are personalized for people in your life and touch lives of others. So thank you for watching. This is the Papered Chef.